Hey there, this is Vince with Okie Homestead Family. I was going to talk about the purchasing land for the first time. So this is we've bought a house before, and then we bought this house that we're in now, but we never bought land, and we're like right smack in the middle of buying the land. Um, so I guess the first step, you need to find your budget, figure out how much you're willing to spend on it, because I think for us we had to have 20% down, and I think the loan is like a balloon loan, I think is what they call it, and it's basically in 5 years the loan either expires and you have to pay it off then, or you have to roll it into a mortgage or reapply for another loan. But we're hoping to have that paid off before that even becomes an issue. But the land we found was, I think, 65,000, and then we had to have 20% down on that. And I guess back to the first step. So you figure out your budget, figure out how much you want. Um, I wanted grass, a lot of grass, so we could support animals and stuff. And then my wife, she wanted more of a view, and so we looked for probably 2 years before we found something that was not $20,000 an acre, um, had a view, and I mean you can find some really pretty views in Oklahoma if you get like on top of a hill and they just go forever. But yeah, so we searched on Zillow a lot and Realtor, and we'd find pieces of land that would pop up, and they'd want like $500,000 for like 2 acres, and we're just like we can't afford that. And so we finally found one that popped up. It's a little further out of town, but it was 5 acres for I think 65,000 is what it was. But I would say your second step after you figure out your budget is find the property that works for you and get a good realtor, because she can answer, or our realtor, she answered so many questions, and she had like a punch list for us to do. um, she would ask us questions like, hey, there's no power out here, look around and see if there's a power pole, so you could get power to your land. And then she said, you can drill for a well because water's not out here. She's like, if you don't hit water, what's your next step? Because you're gonna have to haul water. Are you willing to haul water if you don't hit it, with a well? And so she'd ask questions like that. She knows the area very well. She's like, I know that there's not water out here. I know that there's, or at least city water out here. And like when we did that, and then I would say get pre-approved for a land loan. Go talk to the bank and see what all you need, what all checklists that they need to get that ball rolling. And then so after we did that, we went out and looked at the land first. I mean, we didn't drive on it or anything. We just kind of drove past it and looked around and was like, oh, let's have our realtor show us this one. And so we got in touch with her. She took us out there and showed it. She was like, let's take a night to think on it. And my wife was like, I love the views, and we had plenty of grass, so I was, I wanted to support animals. And but yeah, so we were like, the next day we woke up and I was like, do you still love it? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, let's put an offer in. And the realtor was trying to tell us to kind of lowball it, but we did that one time and got outbid, and we were really upset about it. So we were like, let's just offer what they're asking. So we offered what they asked because we felt it was a fair price either way, and they accepted. And then so we had to go back to the bank and then tell them, exactly where it was that we were wanting to um, go back to the bank and tell them, the exact land we wanted and the address and everything. And so then they're going to go to the appraisal process. So they're going to send somebody out there and see if it appraises. I guess if it doesn't appraise, we're just going to have to put more money down up to their appraisal rate, which is fine. We've been saving for this for a long time. And yeah, then once that step's done, then I think they said it would take about a month to completely close on it. And then that's when we get to go out there and do the final walk and start working. start the long list of stuff we have to do out on the property itself. But trying to think of anything else there was. Yeah, definitely. I would say definitely get a good realtor. She's always been very good to us. She's always been like, hey, if you drive into this neighborhood, if you came in this way, why don't you leave this way so you see what the other houses look like? Drive through here at night, make sure you feel safe. Um, we bought a house kind of by our school here in town, and she was like, there's gonna be school traffic. You got to worry about that. You got to think about that. And she's like, your neighbors are right here. And then, we were on our land. She was like, I would suggest coming out here at nighttime and make sure, there's not a big fire going and guns going off every night. Because you never know. You go out and buy land. You never know who you're really moving next door to until you do it. Yeah, I would say get a good realtor. Get comfortable with the bank. They're there to help. They want to lend you money. You just gotta do a punch list for them, and before they'll sign off on it. If you're further back and you don't have great credit, I would suggest getting your credit right. I think when I first met my wife, my credit score was terrible. It was like low 500s, I think, and I ended up we worked together, worked really hard, and paid off all my outstanding debts, and then I bought a credit card where you had to put it was like $300 down, and then they would loan you your $300, and so you do that and pay it off, and then do that and pay it off. And then it also had like an annual fee, and then my credit started finally building, and I started getting some like decent credit card offers. And then when we first got together, it was a pretty big mess. We had a lot of consumer debt, and I think my wife found Dave Ramsey, and she was like, we should do this. This is getting really stressful for me, because she was always the bookkeeper. She's an accountant, and she was like, this is getting really stressful for me with all these credit cards. And so we started the Dave Ramsey and did the snowball method, and we got all of our credit cards knocked out. We paid for my college as I went, and then she had student loans, and we knocked those out, car loans, and then I think that was it. And then we're pretty much, I wouldn't say pretty much debt free. I still have a truck loan, and then we have a rental property that has a pretty small mortgage on it, and then our primary house. And I think that's our only debts. Well, it'll be the land now. And yeah, get your credit in line. It makes a world difference. Makes everything a lot easier, because like going in there to get the land loan, I was like, it would be a freak accident if they turned us down, because both of our credits are pretty high, at like 800s, I think, or we're both in the 800s for sure now. But yeah, I'd say do that and get comfortable with the bank. Get you a good down payment. Like, if I know that everybody says cut expenses and raise your stuff, but if you could like make it make it where you can feel it. So like, if you smoke cigarettes or something, be like, oh, this week I'm only gonna smoke one pack this day, and then take the $10 that you spend on the second pack and just put it away, put it in a coffee can or something, until you get enough to where you could take it to the bank and then put it in they have these high interest savings accounts now, where I think we have one that's like 3.5% interest, which is insane for a savings account. I mean, I guess, but yeah, just whatever you can cut, whatever you can spend, you got to create a little margin to save money, and then that it'll grow, and it grows slow at first, and then it kind of gets a little faster, and then you can go back to when you get like you hit just celebrate your milestones. You hit $100, celebrate it. Hit $1,000, celebrate it. Hit 10,000, celebrate it. It's a big achievement. All right, well, I'll let you guys know how the rest of the loan process goes. See you on the next one. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to say like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.